I'm an education planner at Iae Global Sydney. Before we start the main session today with Flinders University, let me introduce Iae Global Sydney first. IAE is an education agency for international students. We assist with their study plans, school applications, enrollments, and student visa. We're based in Sydney, Australia, but as a global company, our services are provided through a wide range of ways, including online and social media platforms in many different languages, including Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Spanish, Portuguese, Thai, Lithuanian, Polish, Russian, and English. So please feel free to contact us if you have any questions for future education plans in Australia. Our friendly staff will be available for you for professional free counseling. Each year, we have education fairs on a regular basis with universities and vocation schools across Australia, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we're having online education fairs this year. So we're very excited to be joined by Flinders University today. Located in Adelaide, South Australia, which is one of the designated regional areas, Flinders University is well known for its beautiful campus. Now, a bit of housekeeping. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please leave your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and they'll be answered in the Q&A session after the presentation. And there is also a chat box. You can pop in your questions there as well. Now, without further ado, let's get into the main session. I'm going to pass it over to our presenter today, who is Lara Stone.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Lara Stone, so I'm the Country Recruitment Manager for Flinders University. And as we just touched on, Flinders University is in Adelaide, South Australia. So as you can see, not too far away from everything and where you currently might be in Sydney. So thankfully in Australia, relatively close by, but some of the main points that I wanted to touch on about Adelaide before I go into Flinders and who we are, you might not have known that Adelaide is actually one of the most affordable cities in Australia, but also one of the most livable in the entire world as well. So we've actually been ranked within the top 10 most livable cities in the world, one of the most affordable in Australia. But then in terms of everything else that you're looking at when you might be looking at to change your city for further study, you want to look at all of those things in terms of livability, affordability, but also somewhere that's got a great atmosphere, still got a great city, you know, things like job opportunities, but also weather. In terms of changing cities, you don't want something that's too crazy when you're changing weather. So we've got a very beautiful in-between weather. So it's not going to be a huge change for you as well. And then as mentioned, Adelaide is considered regional, which can be a fantastic opportunity for you if you are looking to gain some work experience after your studies. And the good opportunity is you can also get that extra 1 year as well. So looking at a 3-year post-study work visa opportunity. And yes, we do have beautiful big campuses, and something that is quite unique for Flinders for essentially we are a city university, but we have a huge beautiful green campus. So this campus is actually the Bedford Park campus. So this one here that you can see the images of, this is our main campus where everything really is here. So everything and anything that you need for students and for studying is all in the one place here. And it's similar to the American style campus where it's huge, beautiful, everything you need is all on the one campus. And then we've got our Tonsley Campus, which is only about 5 minutes away. So this one is for science, engineering, research, mathematics, and this is our $120 million campus. So this is dedicated to those study areas, but it's also only 5 minutes away from our main campus as well. And you can jump on the free Flinders bus, which can take you all around as well. And then the next campus is our Victoria Square campus. So this one is in the city centre. So this one is for postgraduate business and accounting in terms of being close to those for internships, But also, if you are in the city, then as a Flinders student, you can have access to this campus as well if you just need to, quickly submit an assignment or something. And then the great thing is that at the end of this year, very exciting, we'll have the Flinders train station, which will be finished. So if you are in the city, you can jump up only 20 minutes on the train directly to Flinders from the city. And then you can do your classes and then hop back down if you want to catch up with friends afterwards in the city or something like that. So if you are looking to study with us next year, whether that's March or July intakes, you'll have the train that will be finished to come directly up to our campus. So this is our Bedford Park campus again. This is, as you can see, it is huge, beautiful green. There's views really anywhere because we're based up on a hill. But I want to show you the proximity, because in Adelaide, we're a city where we're still a big city. However, everything is really close and convenient. So in terms of traffic, compared to some cities like Sydney and Melbourne, it's not as bad. So the biggest undercover shopping mall in South Australia is only 11 minutes away. The main tourist beach is only 15 minutes away. Adelaide Airport, 20 minutes. So as you can see, things aren't too far away from our campus, and we're still connected to the city centre. Also wanted to point out, we have on-campus accommodation. So we're the only provider in South Australia with on-campus accommodation. And also we have the Flinders Medical Centre on campus as well. So I guess one of the main things that you're thinking about if you are thinking about moving to, I guess, study with a different provider, or if you're looking to extend your studies and you might be finishing your bachelor and looking for your master's, one of the biggest questions and the main things that you're looking for is why you should really choose Flinders. So I've put down a few points that I think are the main points for you to consider. And the first one really is that we're ranked in the top 2% universities worldwide, but also 43 in the Asia Pacific. We're number 2 in Australia for postgraduate employment rate. So our graduates, when they finish, very strong in getting jobs straight after they finish. We're also number 1 in South Australia for undergraduate starting salary. So students, when they finish their bachelor's degree, quite often their salary is a lot higher than other graduates. As I mentioned, we have the on-campus hospital, and we're the only one in South Australia with an on-campus teaching hospital. And over 70% of our courses have a practical element. So whether that's a clinical placement, a work experience, we give you that within most of our degrees. And a pretty cool one, we've actually been named the world's #1 in digital illustration. So around the whole world, #1 for digital illustration, things like animation, visual design, and also ranked top 75 in the world for nursing. That touches some of our courses, but we're a comprehensive university. So that basically means we have a whole range of different courses and study areas, and we have so many different rankings in other courses like psychology, law, health, education. So when you are looking for something that's offering a course that you're interested in, yes, we've got the rankings there and the support there. But also exciting, and probably something that you're interested in as well, is we've just released our new scholarships. So for 2021 and onwards, we'll have our full duration scholarships available, which will be based on your academic score, whether that's from high school or whether that's from your bachelor going into a master's. So this will be automatically assessed when you make your application. So you don't have to do a separate application, except for our Vice Chancellor Scholarship, the 50% scholarship. There will be a separate application form and application that you will need to do for that one. And then a bit further, so if you're coming from, let's say, high school, going into one of our bachelor courses, for the 20%, the 25%, or the 50%, this is an example of the scores that you will need. So the Australian Tertiary Admission rank, you'll need 5 points above. And then to get the 25%, you'll need an 80, and so on. And then there are some courses which are not included in the scholarship. Quite often these are our quoted courses, and this will be medicine, also our optometry pathway, and our nursing courses aren't included in the scholarship as well for undergraduate. So for postgraduate scholarships, so 20% and 50%, you just need the equivalent of a 5 GPA or 6.5 for the 50% as well. And there are some courses which aren't included in the scholarships for postgraduate. And again, these are similar, so these are our quoted programs quite often. So things like audiology, social work and medicine aren't included in the scholarship as well. But everything else is included and automatically assessed when you make your application with Flinders. And when deciding where you want to study as well, something that I personally find so important is to have a look if the course that you're interested in has an industry placement or work experience element. So personally, I also studied at Flinders a little while ago now, but I studied business and I majored in marketing. And I did my internship in an advertising company. Flinders help organise everything for you, and it's included within your degree. It's not on top of your studies. It's counted towards your studies, so you don't have to do extra. And this actually led to a paid internship and then a job opportunity, my first graduate job opportunity in advertising. So you never know where your internship can lead to, but it's therefore so important that you have a look if your course has that opportunity as well. Because employers these days are quite often looking for people who already have experience. And if you graduate with a course where you already have, let's say, 10 weeks experience, you've already got a value add over other graduates who don't have experience or didn't get that within their course and they just did theoretical. So for Flinders, as I mentioned, most of our courses have this, but we also have some of the longest internships in Australia for things like engineering and IT. And we have the on-campus teaching hospital, which covers a whole lot of our internships and clinical placements for our health, medicine and nursing as well. So we, as I mentioned, offer a whole range of study areas and courses, but I just want to touch on a few in specific detail for you that you might be interested in. So one is social work. So Masters of Social Work for Flinders is a very popular course, and I just want to mention that places are still open for next year. So it's got an intake in semester 1 and semester 2, so places are still open. So please apply through Iae. And then also for this, obviously we've had some entry requirement changes. So the English level has changed for entry, but also the entry requirements to have at least the 1 year of the full-time equivalent study in social and behavioural sciences. Social and behavioural sciences is quite a broad study area though, so it can include a whole lot of range of different topics and study areas. So we make that assessment when you apply, so you don't have to worry too much about looking into the detail of that. You'll also have your placements within Master of Social Work, and then when you graduate, you'll be eligible to apply for registration as well. Health Sciences is very well known at Flinders. We have some courses as well that lead into Masters, which lead to registration. So really unique to Flinders, some of our courses as well. And we've been ranked #1 in South Australia for things like employment in health services, but also support. So this is a really strong and growing industry in Australia, and particularly in South Australia. That's why I wanted to highlight it. So South Australia is a health state. We've got expanding in new hospitals. We've got new hospitals still being built, new hospitals that have just finished. One of our new hospitals is one of the most expensive buildings in the world. So this area is somewhere in terms of experience that you could gain in Adelaide on something like a post-study work visa, or in terms of jobs, is really strong area. And as you can see, in terms of entry requirements, for most of our courses, we don't require an interview and we don't require prerequisite subjects for entry. So it's really purely based on if you meet the entry scores and you're interested in the course. And similar for postgraduate level, this shows that not a lot of our courses actually require interview or prerequisites, except some of the courses like nutrition and physiotherapy you can see there. And in terms of an interview, it is only Doctor of Medicine that requires an interview. And then also quite unique to Flinders as well, not only do we have our on-campus teaching hospital, but we also have our on-campus Health to Go clinic, which is for services like hearing, physio, speech pathology, and vision science as well. So students have the opportunity to practice here during their studies, but also to work here when they're finished. And this clinic is open to the public, so anyone can book in appointments. So it's a really great opportunity for students as well. And then for nursing, so as I mentioned, Flinders have some fantastic global rankings in nursing. However, we're actually also one of the biggest nursing schools in Australia. And we were the first nursing school as well in Australia. So we've been doing it for a very long time. So very, very trustworthy and very large school. And also the simulations labs that we have that you can see in the image here, they're practicing on the dummies, is state of the art and some of the best in Australia. You also have your placements and we'll organise that as part of your degree and your studies. So we have two courses at bachelor level. We have the graduate entry. So if you don't have a nursing background for that course, so that's 2 years, and pre-registration, which is 3 years as well. So the biggest changes really, which most institutions have changed, is just the entry requirements, the English, and also credit as well. So our undergraduate give you experience basically from day one with placements. So you'll be in our simulation labs, you'll be working on dummies, but then also on year one, you'll get 10 days of placement. And then in the second year, you'll have 2 20-day placements. And in the third year, you'll have 2 40-day placements. So very practical, very hands-on. And then once you finish, you're eligible as well to apply for registration. If you have an Australian onshore diploma, you can apply to assess for credit as well to get into the pre-registration course, and that can look to be 2 years. But you do have to just prove that you have your EN registration or you're applying for your EN registration as well. So you're enrolled nursing. Applications are still open for next year. So we have 1 intake for nursing per year. So our March intake semester 1, and applications are still open for our nursing. And then still related to health, which is something that Flinders is very well known for. So for our medicine program, we're actually one of the top 10 medicine programs in Australia. So very, very strong for medicine as well. And number 1 in the whole of Australia in terms of full-time employment. So as I mentioned previously, that means when our graduates graduate, they have a higher rate of getting a job after studying than other graduates as well. So we have the on-campus hospital as well, which we teach in conjunction with the hospital in Flinders University. So students actually have a whole wing of this hospital, which is the medicine school. So from day one, you're studying in a hospital, you're exposed to real patients, and you'll also have your placements all throughout, basically from week 1 as well. So within the on-campus hospital, that gives you opportunities, but then you can also have placements outside of this. Obviously, to graduate, you need to satisfy your placement opportunities, and then you can apply for accreditation and recognition throughout the degree, and then you can be a registered doctor as well. Going slightly off of health and on to some other areas I wanted to touch, because these areas are growing so much in terms of job opportunities. And this is really where the world is going in terms of growth in every industry. So things like IT and computer science are actually have elements within every industry. So even in health, we were just talking about social work. IT crosses over every industry. So for job opportunities, it's really strong in the future. So we have a whole range of different specializations for IT and computer science across undergraduate and postgraduate. And again, so important, we provide those internship opportunities. So 12 weeks of practical placement, and also you can have your Cisco Academy certificates. So we have a Cisco Academy on campus. You can have these on top of your degree. You can do it within your studies. So you end up graduating with your degree, but also 2 certificates as well through the Cisco Academy. And some areas that we're obviously hearing a lot about at the moment, and some that actually Flinders were the first in Australia to establish standalone degrees. So that means a Bachelor of Artificial Intelligence. We were one of the first to do this in Australia. So really exciting. I mean, you know, we're a really innovative university that's coming up with things that other universities aren't doing yet. So areas like network and cybersecurity systems, artificial intelligence, and digital health systems are all key new study areas with Flinders that I really recommend you have a look into, particularly in terms of future job opportunities. Again, similarly related to IT, we've also got engineering, which is also taught on our Tonsley campus. So with engineering, we have global rankings within the top 250 worldwide, but also we uniquely have some of the longest internships within these courses. And also for things like civil engineering, we have a 100% employment rate. So from when we started this specialisation, our graduates from day one, every single graduate has received a job straight after their studies. So this is fantastic in terms of the internships we're doing with students quite often lead to jobs. The way we're preparing students within engineering, whether undergraduate or postgraduate, means we're creating graduates who are so employable and ready to go straight into the field and into the jobs as well. So elaborating a bit further, so we've mentioned the campuses we're going to be on for this study area, but also in terms of your accreditation. So all of our engineering courses at undergraduate and postgraduate are accredited and registered. And also our internships. So for undergraduate, you'll do 20-week industry placement. So this is one of the longest in Australia. Postgraduate, you'll do 12 weeks as well. So you know that you'll be studying, it's quite unique. A lot of providers in Australia for postgraduate engineering actually don't have internships or placements. So it's quite often just theoretical based. So that might be another reason for you to look to change your interest and maybe your city to study as well with Flinders. And very exciting. So we've got a new course for next year from semester 1, 2021. So our Masters of Engineering Management. So it creates really good opportunities to perhaps step up into roles that are really management based within engineering. So it gives you that next step and that edge when you're looking to really progress your career as an engineer. So this will be on the Tonsley campus as well. And this will be available from semester 1, 2021. So you can apply now for this course as well. And another really excited one, which I'm personally very excited about, is our Bachelor of International Business, Wine, Spirits and Tourism. So for this course, we've actually got a wine and tasting lab on campus now that they've just built. So this is within your course, you'll do a lot to do with experience with tasting and getting to know and understanding wine spirits. And obviously in South Australia, this is a huge industry. So we have a lot of wine regions and a lot of wineries here that import and export, but also it's key for tourism as well. So in terms of your placements that you'll be doing, so many opportunities that are built within the degree. So very practical. Obviously international business is something that in terms of globalization and keeping the world going is so big as well. So very exciting new course, one of its only in the world, one of the only in Australia offering something like this as well. So very exciting. If you're interested in this area, I would highly recommend looking into this course. Fantastic opportunities that open you up to the industry and networks in South Australia with a really strong and growing industry for South Australia. And just talking and touching, like if you are unsure, some of our credit opportunities are really flexible and you can look at getting the 1 year waive for credit into study areas like business, engineering and IT. So if you have your diploma, you're currently unsure and you're studying or finishing your diploma, you can apply into our bachelor courses and get credit for a whole lot of the ones you can see on the screen here. So just remember Flinders, and they do have flexible credit arrangements for these study areas. And then a standard one, which is standard for most universities and institutions in Australia. So we accept all of these English proficiency tests. For OET, we do accept it, but just for the health programs that I went through and nursing. And then for Duolingo, we are accepting Duolingo, but just for semester 1, 2021. So that was continuing on from accepting it within 2020. But if you are maybe looking to expand, your English, and you want to study at one of our English providers, that's fantastic. We have a whole range, which you can see on the screen here as well. We also have an academic pathway provider that you can come into. Another thing that I want to really recommend is to jump on our socials, but also our YouTube. So if you jump on Flinders University YouTube, obviously at the moment, traveling might be a little hard for you, or you just want to experience the campus life, or hear from one of the academics or a student. There are so many new videos at the moment on our YouTube. So you can do virtual tours of our different campuses, or if you specifically just want to do, a virtual tour of the nursing labs or the robotics labs, you can jump on videos about that. If you want to hear from current students and current international students about their studies, or if you want to go to the next level, there are a whole lot of academic videos as well. So talking about the different study areas, talking about their courses. So it's a really great way for you to have a look at those videos, experience it, and get to know Flinders a bit more as well. So I've probably provided everything. Now you want to apply for Flinders in Adelaide. That's fantastic. So remember to apply through Iae. So you can get your conditional offer, you can apply with predicted scores, or you can book a one-on-one session with us or one of my colleagues if you do want to chat through one of those courses, or maybe entry requirements a little bit more, or if you want to know more about Adelaide. And you can feel free to contact me as well on any of these contact details, and we can go through a few questions now as well.
All right, thank you so much, Lara. So now we're happy to take any questions.
Perfect.
I see Eugene Chan is typing a question at the moment.
We have another question about, do international students have a chance to do internships? I saw many universities offer internships, but only for Australian students. Okay, that's a really good question. And no, so Flinders University, so our courses and our internships are all the same for domestic and international students. So you get the same access, you get exactly the same opportunities for internships as domestic students. In courses like medicine, you get exactly the same opportunities. Even courses like business, you have the same access to internships and opportunities. So absolutely, it is the same international or domestic Australian student. You still have access to the same internship opportunities.
Yeah, so there's another question from Eugene Chan. Hi, Lara. Thank you for your information regarding the Bachelor or International Business, Wine, Spirits, and Tourism. Is it accredited by VETASES?
Yeah, so it's accredited by all the industry bodies. So you'll finish with your accreditation as well. It'll also be recognised on a national and a global level as well. So whether, in a non-COVID world, if you want to take this degree internationally, it'll be recognised as well with, large hospitality or international business, or also within the wine and tourism industry as well. So it's a degree that you can take really on any level and apply on so many different industries in Adelaide, in Australia, or around the world.
Okay. Any questions?
We quite often get some questions as well about accommodation. So I think a big difference about Adelaide, and as I mentioned, we're obviously quite affordable. So therefore, for your accommodation or for your rent, it is a lot more affordable than some of our interstate cities. But also because Flinders isn't directly in the city centre, as I've explained, we're only about 20 minutes away. But therefore, in order to find close accommodation to the university, it's actually even more affordable because we're not in the city centre. So you could, whether you're looking for an apartment or you're looking for, a shared house or a house, it's a lot more affordable and available because we're not in the city centre. But then obviously the train station's right there, so you're connected to the city and everything all around as well. So another thing to think about is in terms of accommodation for international students, it's very available and affordable.
Great. So Vanessa is asking, can we have the link for YouTube channel, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to.
So on the screen, if you just use the Flinders University with no space and type that in YouTube, or we can post as well in the chat the link, and you can get that to hop on the YouTube channel.
Great. And the recording is also going to be shared on our Iae Global Facebook page. You can also visit our Iae Global Facebook page to watch it again. All right. I think the questions we've covered all the questions for now. So if you have any more questions, you can always contact Iae counselors. We're going to be answering all the questions later on. Yes, we can close the webinar today.
Thank you so much for having me. And any other questions, contact us or apply now through IAE. Remembering most of our courses are still available for next year for semester 1. So they're still open. Popular courses like social work and nursing are still open. So you can still apply for Flinders for those study areas. And anything else, then I can help as well.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Lara.
much. No
Thank
worries.
you.
Bye.